Hi there, I'm certified financial planner Wes Caprill, and this is Wealth Wise Women, the show that's rewriting the narrative that personal finance and investing are just for men and just for insiders. Because whether or not the rest of my industry realizes it, the future of wealth in the United States is female, and I aim to foster that future one episode at a time. So join me as I attempt to add humor and entertainment to the otherwise snooze fest that is personal finance, addressing along the way various topics from the lens of how they affect women in particular. And if you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe to our channel and our newsletter, the link to which you can find in the episode details. That being said, let's get to this week's episode. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Wealth Wise Women podcast. What I want to talk about is the topic of procrastination, specifically financial procrastination, because if it doesn't affect everyone, it at least affects, I think, a large majority of us. And it also fits in that overarching theme of investor psychology, talking about just psychology in general. And it also fits into that theme of the more we talk about a lot of the issues that people face when it comes to money, the less taboo the subject becomes. Let's talk about why people experience financial procrastination. At least in my own experiences, typically when I'm procrastinating on something, the thing itself isn't what's causing me to pause or have anxiety or anything. I'm usually anxious or feeling out of sorts about something else, something deeper. So while I might think I'm just trying to avoid the task at hand, it's usually something else that's gnawing at me. I need to go a little bit deeper to really understand what that is. Another contributing factor is feeling overwhelmed. It can be very easy when your to-do list starts building and building, and all of a sudden you think there's no way I'm going to be able to complete all of this. So you just stop completing any of the tasks at hand instead of breaking them up and at least trying to chip away at it over time. I think another thing is fear of failure or doing things wrong is also something that contributes to procrastination. I think that's especially prevalent with the younger generations like mine. We have this kind of perfectionism in our head, and we get this idea that we don't want to start on something until we have all of the different variables considered, and we want everything to be perfect. Instead, what often happens is, again, we end up not moving forward with anything because we have this huge fear of failure. And what we fail to remember is that, one, the mistakes that you can make along the way are great for learning. And we need to celebrate the learnings along the way, even if we ultimately fail in trying to achieve our goal. On top of that, we often have this fear that if we do fail, our failure is going to be whatever it is that we imagine it to be. It is never the case. Our failure is never as bad as the worst case scenario that we imagine it to be. And then ultimately too, if we fail to achieve the goal that we set out, we may actually end up achieving something though. There might be something that comes out of a greater failure, but there's little wins along the way. But again, this is just the whys behind why we procrastinate, especially when it comes to financial decisions. Anxiety, depression, feeling overwhelmed, fear of failure. There's a whole lot that goes into it. When it comes to financial procrastination, there are many dangers behind it, but there's one big one. Ultimately, financial fatigue and lack of clarity can set in if you've failed to move forward on any of your financial goals because all of a sudden you feel overwhelmed by this long to-do list that has built up over time. But the biggest danger behind financial procrastination is losing out on time. Albert Einstein is often credited with the quote that compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And what he means by that is that interest earns interest on itself over time. And so if you're earning interest, your money is going to grow at an exponential rate. But we only achieve that exponential rate if we're in the market for a very long time. Now, ultimately, I think one thing that holds people back is, well, I've already missed out. What's the point in starting now? And it's always important to remember that it's never too late. So I think this gets me to the first point of how do you break out of this financial procrastination? How do you reset your mind and get to moving forward? The first step is acknowledging where you are. Now, I encourage everybody to do this with blinders on. Unfortunately, in today's world, we live in this comparison society. We're always comparing ourselves to what we're seeing on social media and whatever our friends are talking about. And it's keeping up with the Joneses, but I think it's gotten exponentially worse when we're constantly bombarded with these messages of, oh, this person's living such a glamorous lifestyle, or this person's spending money like crazy. One, we don't know that person's specific circumstances. And two, what does it matter? So ultimately, put the blinders on, quit worrying about everybody else, and then just acknowledge where you are and realize your position is probably a lot better than you realize. And the other thing too is don't beat yourself up. Mistakes have happened, but we cannot go back in time. Ultimately, we can only move forward. So you instead need to say, okay, it is what it is. Hit the reset button. How can I move on from here? And remember, it's never too late to start with something. Step 2 is to be organized. I think ultimately we have to have a good assessment of all of our expenses, all of our accounts, etc. I talk about this all the time. It's good at least every 6 months. I do it myself probably every month. Just sit down and assess where you are financially. Assess what's coming in, what's going out, what your overall net worth is, and then track that over time and get a sense of, am I doing the right things? But when you organize and assess your financial picture, it gives you far more clarity, which enables you to move forward with a better sense of where it is that you want to go. That leads to point 3. Set goals, but start small. And sit down and grow your goals to be bigger and bigger over time. But it's important not to say, oh, I have nothing put away, I want $1 million in 5 years. It's probably not realistic. Ultimately, what you need to do is go, okay, what can I achieve? And start setting out to achieve that. One thing that's, I think, very, very important for the psychological aspect of this and to help us take control by giving up control, paradoxically speaking, is to automate as much of this as possible. It's why when companies set up 401k accounts, you get that withdrawal. You don't even see it. It doesn't even hit your account. And in fact, it's not even shown in your account how much you lost or how much was pulled out to go into your 401k. You can obviously see that in the statements, but it's important to, I think, when you're paid, pay yourself first. Don't worry about debts, nothing like that. Let's say you make $10,000 before taxes, put $1,000 or whatever it might be into your 401k. So pay yourself first. Set up all of those automations. And then one thing I started doing as well is set up an automation within your savings accounts. So even after your check hits, put some extra money away to achieve maybe a larger emergency savings account, but automate it so that as soon as your check hits, you automatically withdraw money and put it in your savings account. And then you mentally say, this is money that I don't touch. But we can help ourselves by automating it as much as possible, by taking away control from ourselves, paying ourselves first and going, I don't even see the money, so I can't spend it if I don't know that I have it. It's kind of just a little mental trick that you can employ along the way. The last point here in terms of how to break out of all of this is to address the root causes of any impulsivities that you have or any out of control spending. And this is where I think it's very, very important to seek out professional guidance. I think when it comes to the root causes of financial procrastination, it can be very, very helpful to talk with an expert who can help you really get down to the root cause of what it is that's holding you back. And a therapist can absolutely help with that, especially a financial therapist. And then certified financial planners like myself are becoming more and more specialized in helping people with the emotional aspect of money, helping them really uncover what it is that is a problem for you and holding you back from achieving your financial goals, and then helping you manage those emotions over time. If not overcome them, at the very least, manage them to allow you to achieve financial security in the long term. If that's something that you're looking for, please don't hesitate to reach out. Go to visitwithmc.com, book a day and time that works best for you, and we can sit down and discuss how we might be able to help you. But overall, I hope this episode was helpful. If procrastination, especially financial procrastination, is something that you suffer from, you are not the only one. Plenty of us suffer from the same thing, but it doesn't hurt to just get started today, start small, and you can overcome it over time, especially if you employ the assistance of experts out there. So that being said, I will see you next week.